Hola YouTube and welcome back to my channel. I am your girl Beauty Eyeliner across all my social media platforms. And if you would, go ahead and thumbs up this video, of course. Go ahead and subscribe, share it amongst your family and friends, and get a conversation started with me in the comment section below. But you guys already know this is going to be round 2 of the PUR Raw Beauty Kristi Press Shadow Pigment Palette. Pressed Eyeshadow Palette. I did notice some issues with the actual palette as I was going in, working with it, blending it out. Not just the dust effect of the palette, which I already explained to you guys in, the first review that I did of this palette. But I went ahead and created this particular eye look thanks to Samantha Ravindal. She put up a video 2-3 days ago. Well, at the time I'm filming this, 2-3 days ago. And today is August 3rd. She put up this video where she went in with the 2 shades from this palette, and it just looks so pretty. And I wanted to kind of copy what she did. But then I was watching a Nikki Tutorials video, and she went ahead and she put shimmer on, and she took it all the way up to her brow. And I was like, boo, I want to get in on that. I want to try that too. So if you're ready to see what we actually did with this actual palette and the issues that I noticed with this palette and how you can overcome those issues, then you already know. Let's keep watching.
You're my bitter one, taking me home. One thing really lead to
Okay, guys, so I wanted to go ahead and do look number 2 with the Raw Beauty, with the PUR times Raw Beauty Kristi Press Pigment Palette, Eyeshadow Palette. And I also wanted to go ahead and use the actual free gift they actually sent. And this was the On Point Eyeliner in Down to Earth. Like I was telling you guys, the one thing that I was going to use it for was going to be for my eyebrows. I did have to go ahead and do a particular look that was pretty neutral that I have filmed coming up for you guys that I'll be able to show you guys. But pretty much all I'm going to go ahead and do is first brush these unruly eyebrows into actual place. I'm going to go ahead and use the Kat Von D High Voltage Eyeshadow Primer for my actual lids. And I took just a little bit, because with this product, a little goes a long way. But I did want to go ahead and give my eyes just a little bit more brightness, because the first time I didn't go in and add any brightness to it. So I just want to go ahead and see if brightening my lids and adding just a little bit more of a base for those colors to show up and pop, if it actually works. Because I did notice something the first time around that I was using the palette, and I just assumed it was because of the base I had used. So I wanted to come back and give it another shot and another try based on what I noticed. But let's go ahead and get into these brows first. And all I'm going to do is go ahead and track along the bottom first. And it's an eyeliner, but I absolutely love the way it held on. And I was out in this stupid Georgia heat, and these brows didn't budge, they didn't fade, they didn't do any of that. Now, because this thing does get dull pretty fast, you're not going to be using this to be able to go in there and do different things with it. You can resharpen the actual tip to get more precision with it. But just know you aren't going to be making those little small hair-like shapes. This is just going to be for a brow that is more of an ombre brow. Now, last time I did it, this one was a little bit more flat. This one was a little bit more highly arched. So when I went to go take off my makeup that day, I went ahead and cleaned up my eyebrows to match the type of arch that I like to have, which is typically a high arch for me. And then I'll go ahead and use this to go ahead and fill everything back in to a certain point. Don't get too happy with this product now. It is an eyeliner. So I'll go ahead and use my handy dandy trusty Color Pop to blend this out. And I'll go ahead and take just a little bit of my actual concealer. And I had used the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer in Butterscotch. And I'll use that just to clean up around the top just a little bit. Same thing on the other side. Just a little. And then I'll go ahead and use a little bit of the Too Faced Peach Perfect. And this is going to be their matte setting powder. Just to go in and set just a little bit above my brows. And a little bit underneath, so we don't have too much brow movement. And then I'll go ahead and brush away any excess powder that may have fallen onto my brows. And then you guys already know, as far as filling in any other part of the brow bars, I'm gonna take this copper boxes on just a 3/17 wing lighter brush. And I'm just gonna go in here and just stamp this in just a little bit in the front to fill it in. And with the Color Pop end of the brow thing, just gonna go in there just a little bit and just brush it on through. And that's it for the brows as far as that one is concerned. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go back in here and play around a little bit with what I wanted to actually do with the actual lids. I'm gonna go ahead and take Camelot. Yep, wrong side. Brighter. I want to go ahead and take Dandelion, and I'm taking this on a fluffy Jessup brush. There is no number or anything associated with it, but it's just a fluffy brush. And I am going to get, of course, a lot of kick up. But now I'm just going to go ahead and go in here and just stamp this on down before I start to blend. And you guys know I already take everything always into my actual brow. I'm not getting a lot of fallout underneath because right now the only thing that I'm doing is just stamping. I'm not blending anything per se just yet. And I do want to go ahead and take just a little bit of my whole heart, just a little bit, and go up underneath here because I want my brows to have a little bit more lift. So now I'll go ahead and go back in and just blend and make sure I'm getting a really good blend across that top. Sometimes with blending, your eyebrows get caught up in it. Pay that no mind, honey. And going back in and really deepening up this. I want this as pigmented and as deep as possible. If I was actually applying this to my lid versus it being more of a transition and crease color, I would have applied my Denise Merrick's Color Fix 24-Hour Matte Color underneath and then put this on top and it would have come up popping yellow. But then I'm gonna go ahead and go into Garden State. I saw Samantha Ravindal's look and I was just blown away and enamored. I was like, God, that's pretty. The way she did that look was so pretty. And because you guys know I have a little flappy fold with my lid, I'm going above that flappy fold. Flappy fold, where I get that from? Alyssa Ashley. And all I'm doing is just pressing. I'm not doing anything else but pressing. Now that we have that on, I'm gonna dip back into the yellow. And now I wanna blend those edges out. And this will create a really pretty green transition for me. Now, as you're blending, you are gonna lose just a little bit. So you do want to be able to go back in there and just tap, tap, tap. Re-intensify. And all I'm doing is turning the brush to the side to go in and feather it up. Taking more of the yellow and blending around it. Going back into Garden State. And again, tap, 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 tap. Sometimes when you're working with pigments, this will happen. And this is what I noticed in the first one. I was having to do a whole lot of back and forth. And from time to time, you'll start to notice that, if you guys can see right there, how it's starting to fluff away. When that happens, take more pigment. Tap, tap, tap. Going back in with the yellow. And I'm just going to simply go around just to make sure I'm not having any harsh lines with it. I do have some fallout, but it is dusting away pretty well. So that is something I want you guys to realize, that even if you do have a little bit of fallout around it, it will dust away pretty well. And this out here, when I got a little too overzealous with the blending, I'm just going back in with the brush I use just for powder, just to go ahead and ease that on up just a little bit. Now for this eye, she also had a really pretty glitter on top. She used the glitter, the Cafe Disco. She used Cafe Disco in the palette. Now let me show you why I'm not gonna use, well, I'm gonna use Cafe Disco just to show you guys how it looks when you go over it. But this is what it looks like when you go over it. Pink Cafe Disco on top didn't really do much for adding anything to the actual eye look. So I'm gonna do something different. Let me show you. So since Cafe Disco didn't do anything for me for that one, I'm gonna go into a Stila. This is their Glitter and Glow Magnificent Metals in either Diamond Dust or the shade Mystery and Spiritual. Let's go ahead and look at Diamond Dust to go across it, because I just want a little bit of glitter going across it, or Mystery. Mystery is going to give me way too much gold, so not Mystery. I'm going to use Diamond Dust. Just tap, 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 tap. And there we go. And I want to be a little bit more. And I took the center part all the way up to the brow. And over here, I'm gonna go back in with the green, just to make sure I'm not losing any of that depth out here on the outside. And now I'll go ahead and go back into it and tap, tap, tap. And very lightly after I put that down, I'm gonna go back in and just tap over it just a little bit to tone it down just a little bit. Dipping back in, because I don't want to lose that shade on my inner corner. Tap. And there we go. Take a little bit of the yellow back around the front, and a little bit of the yellow back out here on the outside. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go into my Huda Beauty liner. And this is the Huda Beauty Life Liner. And I'm gonna go ahead and just make sure I'm tight lining with it. And for the shade underneath I'm gonna go ahead and go into, I'm not going to do what Samantha did. I'm going to make the look my own. I'm going to go ahead and go into this shade Tribute, the purple. And I'm using a Just a 226 smudger brush. And I'm going to go ahead and put that underneath. And you guys know I love to drag my shadows down pretty far. And I'll turn it to the side just to blend and blow. And if you noticed, you see how it kind of fluffed away? So I have to go back in and relay down more product. See that? And this is what I noticed when I was first using it the first time. And this is the reason why I wanted to come back and do it again. So I can show you guys exactly how you prevent this from happening. When that happens, go ahead and use one of your sprays. And right now I'm just using the Photo Finish Primer Water. And this is before you do your eyeliner or mascara, guys. Go in and spray. Don't move your eye, don't move your face, don't do anything. Just let it dry. And right at the point to where when it's almost completely dry, go back in with the purple because now you have a sticky base. And press. See what I'm doing? Press. Now if you notice that the purple is creating just a little bit of darkness right here on my inner corner, see that? I'm gonna fix that by going in and using my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. And I'm gonna be using a Sigma Bake Precision P89. And I'll go in here with the actual peach color. And I'll get right in there. To lighten and clean that up. And all I'm doing is using a sponge with just a little bit of setting powder underneath just to kind of set and lock that into place. So I'm gonna go ahead and complete the other eye and throw on the actual eyeliner so you guys can actually see. And I'm gonna go ahead and use the same pretty much liner. Huda Beauty, favorite liner of all time. And I'm just gonna go ahead and go in and do it like this. And I'm pulling it right where that purple and the green and the blue met. And I wasn't trying to do a wing this big, but sometimes shit happens. And the reason why I love the Huda Beauty is because it's so black, it doesn't transfer. And if you can see how well it's covering the actual glitter, so it doesn't look like I put a glitter liner down. It actually looks like I just put a regular black liner down. And you guys know I always take what's left on the brush with no additional product. And I'll always go in with whatever liner I'm using and re-intensify and darken my tail. Now for you guys who love to have a little bit more definition in the front of your brow, I'm using the Architect Slim Eyeliner. This is the waterproof by LA Splash Cosmetics, and this is in the shade Black, I'm assuming. It's not on here. I'll go in and just draw in just a few hairs. And now I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eye, and I'm gonna come back and show you guys exactly how we do it. Okay, so this is the final look that I came up with. Now, for the actual lips, I went ahead and combined two different colors for the actual lips to give it more of that ombre type feel on the lips. I used a discontinued ColourPop Ultra Matte color in the shade Dr. M. And I went ahead and used the Maybelline New York, and this is their Super Stay Matte Ink in the shade Creator. So I went ahead and combined both of these for the actual lips. I did go ahead and do the official Link Lashes style in Sweetheart. Those are the lashes that I have on right now. And the highlight that I went ahead and put on was the Fenty Beauty Trophy Wife. So I did go ahead and use that. And of course, you know, the bronzer of my face was the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And the foundations that I have on my face, I'm testing them out right now. So we have the Too Faced Matte, Born This Way Matte on this side, and the original Too Faced Born This Way foundation on this side. But this is what I went ahead and created with the eyes. And of course, the glitter that you see on my eyelids is the Diamond Dust by Stella Glitter and Glow. And right here, the inner eye highlights, you know, can't do a look without that. You know me by now. This is the Shadow Mystery Liquid Eyeshadow in the shade Spiritual. So this is what we have so far. And of course, you guys already know the eyeliner and also the eyeliner on top, the waterline and the eyeliner are both from this particular product from Huda Beauty. This is her Lifeliner and Extreme Black, both ends of it. And the eyebrows, of course, is the PUR Cosmetics On Point Eyeliner Down to Earth. You guys already know that. So this is the look that we have. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Okay guys, so by now you've had a chance to actually see the video and you know everything about it. It is still a very beautiful palette. I definitely enjoyed the eye look that I actually got with this. The only thing I didn't show you guys was I went in with the actual purple underneath the actual lashes, but after I did that and completed my entire face, I did go back in and brush just a little bit of the pink underneath the actual purple to bring that down a little bit. So that's that glow that you're seeing. The pink and the purple is giving the glow from underneath the eyes. Again, I actually love Raw Beauty Kristi. I love PUR products. This is not a beginner friendly palette by no stretch of the imagination. When you're going in working with a lot of these shades, especially on this side of the palette, you're gonna need some even on this side, because I noticed it with the darker colors as well, which is weird for PUR, but I understand that this isn't an eyeshadow palette. This is a pressed pigment palette. So I already knew it was going to be challenges going in out the gate. This is not a beginner-friendly palette by no stretch of the imagination. This is going to be a palette where you're going to have to understand blending and layering. Because when you're dealing with pigments and you go to blend, it can and will fluff away a little bit. So you're going back and forth. Like literally, you're having to go back and forth with your actual shades. So in the video, you saw me doing this a lot. You saw me packing on the green and then blending out with the yellow. Packing on with the green, blending out with the yellow. One eye took a good 7 minutes to do. And that was before all this glitter and all this other stuff. Like just not the lashes, the liner, the bottom eye line, just the top eye on one eye took about 7 minutes to do for it to get to where I liked it to be. And that's just going back and forth and blending, back and forth and blending. Underneath the eyes with the purple shade and the actual pink, I did go ahead and show you guys what you can actually do as far as helping it adhere and stick better. You can also get the same result by just packing on a sticky eye primer and then going in and packing it on, blending it out and pack it back on again. But you do have to go ahead and set it down in place. So hopefully this video kind of took you a little bit more further into detail on the layering and blending and usage of this actual palette. And if you have it, or if you're waiting on it to come, or if you're thinking about getting it, what you can do to best make it work for you. And again, you know, I went ahead and threw some more of the eyeshadow in my brows because I ain't even gonna lie. These two right here, it doesn't look like it, but the one thing that Nikki Tutorials noted that I'll agree with as well is that the shades in the palette are gonna come across a little bit darker on your eye than in the actual palette. And I'm not mad at that by no stretch of the imagination. That really helps when you're talking about women of color, people of color, men of color, just whatever, because sometimes we need that bolder pigmentation, or the darkening of it sometimes can be really great when you're talking about melanated infused skin. So that definitely works. But that is also something else that I want you guys to kind of take into consideration. This is the yellow that I used on my eye. I use Garden State across my actual lid. So you kind of got to look at what it looks like in the actual pan and shadows and what it's actually pulling across on my actual face. And I did go ahead and use a lighter base to actually go in. So, and Nikki Tutorials had the same problem as well. And I was like, that was something I noted as well. But I thought, you know, maybe it's because I didn't use a lighter base. And even today when I went in and used lighter base, I still had those same issues. Again, not a deal breaker. It is just something that, again, you want to know, especially if you're trying to match perfectly a certain aesthetic you're going with your makeup, or you're trying to match perfectly with an outfit or a hair or a flower or jewelry, accessories, whatever it is that you're trying to do. If it's something that you're really trying to spot on get with, then you should probably know some of the different things with this palette. But outside of that, I still give this palette a rave review. It's still one of my better palettes from PUR. It is not my best palette from PUR, to be honest with you. Of all the palettes I have from PUR, I have like 4 or 5 other palettes from PUR. This is gonna fall 5th or 6th on that list. So this is the last on the list of all of my other eyeshadow palettes from PUR, because I don't have these particular problems and issues from those other eyeshadow palettes. But there again, I just told you, those are eyeshadow palettes, so they have more binders to stick and blend, where this is a pressed pigment. So I'm gonna have to go in and use just a little bit more elbow grease to get to the same look that I could probably use half the time to do with the regular eyeshadow palette. But it's still very beautiful. I'm still very happy that I was able to get this and capture it and put my hands on it. So let me know what you guys think about the actual first look, the second look, or if you had it, you came across any problems or issues, or you was like, they reviews ain't matching up to this palette. Because I see what they doing, but I'm having something different happen with my palette. Let me know what you guys think of it. You like, no problems, no issues, but perfectly fine for me. Fallout is, it's a given with this one. It's pressed pigments. You're gonna get fallout. I don't know what to tell you. You better put down some powder or do your eyes first and then go back and do your actual base. That would be the way that I would tell you to go. But as always, thank you so much, YouTube, for spending some time with me today and just coming back and rocking with your girl. I'm so happy for you guys. I want you guys to continue to remain safe. And as always, thank you, YouTube. And until next time, bye.